Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Man Weave College Basketball Podcast. It is conference tournament week, it's championship week, whatever it is you want to call it. We are in the midst of arguably one of the best weekends of the year. I think people go back and forth on whether this is better versus March Madness itself. There's all kinds of games this week, this weekend.
Oh no, Jim froze. We were worried about
What?
this. Don't worry, Matt.
Jim?
We got this. We
Did
prepared
we?
for this. Jim's saying
Oh.
how wonderful conference. Jim, you're back. Hi, Jim.
Yeah, we've got some internet snafu this morning, so hopefully the people can tolerate Jim freezing a little bit. My connection is unstable per Zoom. Really exciting stuff. I ran an internet speed test before this, and everything was going smoothly. But sometimes technology doesn't play for your team, Kai, and you got to just work against adversity. But here we are, talking college ball. Follow us on Twitter at 3MW_CBB and Instagram, same handle there. Subscribe to the pod on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. Leave us reviews. If you leave one on Apple reviews, we will discuss it here. We've got a few for this show. We'll hit those at the very end. We love the 5-star variety most. And of course, shout out to Basket Under Review, the college basketball phenom in the making that we work for. We do our previews there in the preseason. It's got a Discord with all kinds of discussion about transfer portal, coaching carousel, daily betting is popping right now. We talk futures. There's been some really nice hits in there. We had somebody call out Georgia Southern 300-1 before they won 5 in 5 days and almost won 6 in 6 days. So, hey, if you want to just pay for your membership, just sign up and use tips like that. You also get access to the website where there's all kinds of great writing from Brian Ralph, Will Warren, Jordan Majeski,
Et cetera, et cetera. Jim left again.
Jim.
Oh, he's back.
I'm
Jim's
here,
back.
Kai.
Yes.
I'm here.
No, he's gone again. He's saying how great Basket Review is, and it really
Basket
is.
Under Review. Basket Under Review.
Basket Under
Yes,
Review.
this is going to be a headache, this episode. I don't know why it's happening over here. I will continue to try to investigate behind the scenes when I am not talking. So to that point, Kai, I'm going to send it over to you real quick. You can keep
Okay.
plugging Basket Under Review, and I
Yes.
will do some hard work under the hood.
Sure will. Well, hello out there. I'm Kai. And Matthew, hi, how are you, buddy? You want to
Good.
say a few words?
Yeah, my lovely son, my dog, my pup,
Your dog. Yes.
George just yacked all over the hardwood floor. So it's a little behind the scenes cleaning. Just a rough start for the league today. I mean, just an absolute comedy of errors.
We got
I'm good though. Yeah, March is a month, a month of mayhem.
Jim's technology issues. Matt's dog is throwing up.
Our heads are falling off.
My pen is not like super great right now. If I can just throw in my issues.
The struggle.
Okay.
The
No,
struggle is real, Kai.
Yeah.
I think this is a good place to air that out. It's a good time.
Well-
It's just what's on your mind.
Jim plugged everything. Well, we're going to talk conference tournaments this episode again, of course. Do some reviews of what's happened and preview the rest of the guys that are still left. And actually, a question real quick from the chat. Do you guys like that the big dogs go after the small conferences, or would you prefer it reversed? I kind of like it. It's kind of a build-up.
I prefer this way
Yeah.
for sure. I love just
I
like the
agree.
random Tuesday night championship games. The one issue I have, I think I mentioned this on stats. There's one night where only the SoCon and the Sun Belt are the two championships, and they play them at the same time, and I just don't understand that.
Just like that. Yes.
Like 1 hour
Stagger
stagger.
them.
I agree. It's been the same way for
Or-
10 years. It's dumb.
They're both on the ESPN family of networks. Make one at 7 p.m. Eastern, one at 9 p.m. Eastern. We can do this. I promise. The Metro Atlantic games at 9 p.m. Eastern. Why can't the Sun Belt be at 9?
It's a good question, Jim. Hey, I think we're ready for Roots Roundup, if you're ready.
I'm always ready for Roots Roundup, but we're not quite ready for Roots Roundup because I got to kick it over to my guy, Maddie, to shout out CBB Analytics.
That's right, Jimmy. CBBAnalytics.com, the holy grail of college basketball data, insights, visualizations, you name it, they got it. And if they don't have it, they're probably working on it. A big rollout of new features, as sort of teased last week. We've been talking about how the tournament simulation have been super useful for conference tournaments, but they're going to seamlessly transition into the NCAA tournament. So if you're filling out your brackets, just a really nice, easy way to kind of toggle through scenarios, percentages, odds of reaching each round, Final Four, title. Definitely use it as a sanity check for your futures portfolio, Kai. But of course, a trivia question. I'm trying to make a weekly tradition, which I don't always uphold, but I will this week. The splits section allow you to break down between in season teams' last 5 games, last 10 games versus the full year, home away. Um, who is the hottest team in college basketball right now relative
Mm.
to their full season based on their last 10 games?
Hottest team, Oklahoma.
Ding, 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 ding. Very good. That's correct.
Wow.
Followed by Jim.
My guess was going to be Florida State.
There it is. God, the weave is sharp
Wow,
today. Good bounce back
Cooking.
for us. Yep.
pretty
Those two
good.
are head shoulders above Marquette, who was sadly expunged by Xavier. I was hoping they would keep their mojo going. But yeah, OU and Florida State. Hot, hot, hot.
Florida State, I wanted that win over Duke. I would have enjoyed it. Yes, I had 150 to 1 on them to win the ACC, and getting through to the semis would have been a nice little bonus. But man, it was a really good game, and I had the last shot. And I'm sure Matt's Blue Devils would have been fine. They're locked into a 1 seed anyways. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Someone in the Discord said this. I would like to see Florida State in the tournament over a lot of the teams that are probably more deserving at this point. But just like the version I'm watching now is like that's them over Texas. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
sure. It's just their
yeah.
first 18 games was so bad. They were 7-11. Their only wins were bye games. Like you have to factor that in a little bit. I don't know.
No, you do. It's full season. Full year.
All right, let's talk Roundup, fellas. We'll start with
Oh,
coaching
sorry.
news.
I complete the ad, Matt. Weave,
Oh, yes.
WEAVE is our promo code. $40 off gets you subscription to that awesome site that we just ran through trivia and certain cool tools about. Sign up today. Thank you, Jim.
Promo code Weave. That's right, $40 off. All right, coaching news. Yes. We're going to talk a little P5 first. We've got the first big hiring domino of the carousel. That is Kansas State late last night hiring Casey Alexander from Belmont. Come on down to Manhattan. Kind of makes sense to me. I know there was probably a bad taste in some people's mouth after Belmont got smacked on national TV in the quarterfinals of the MVC tournament. Actually, it might have been on ESPN Plus, but 1 seed loses. But man, all Casey Alexander does is win. Seems like a good hire. We'll see.
Yeah, gosh, I think he obviously deserves it. I wonder how K State fans feel. Do they think this is a really good hire? Are they excited about this? I wouldn't call him sexy, Matthew. Not just like his actual person, but like I wouldn't call him a splash hire, for instance. The ballers know how good he has been at Belmont, and he was great at Lipscomb before that. He's an awesome coach. I just don't know how the K State fans feel, I suppose.
I don't care. They should be psyched. You get out of the Tang
Yep.
thing, you move on to like just to I don't know. To me, I think he's a very high floor coach, Jim.
High floor. There you go.
Elite player developer, which may not matter as much in this climate if you're only going to keep guys for a year. So you could maybe cause that as a concern. But I think there's a lot of these coaching hires are you get something very different from the previous coach, right? Tang came in for more of his defensive acumen. Casey Alexander, after I'm sure K-State fans were bemoaning their offensive ineptitude, save the Marquise Noel, Keon Johnson season. Casey Alexander can coach offense at an elite level. So that seesaw makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, not just develop a really good evaluator. And they just had a guy who could not put together a roster with all the money in God's kingdom, no matter what. And he was fantastic at finding under the radar gems. I'm sure he was sick of people leaving at Belmont. Like so many of their players would transfer and end up elsewhere. And now hopefully he can pay to retain at Kansas State. I'm sure that's a bonus for him. Other big P5 openings right now, Syracuse. Adrian Autry is gone. No surprise. Arizona State. Bobby Hurley's contract ran out and they chose not to renew it. Georgia Tech. Damon Stoudemire out. Boston College. Earl Grant gone. Any of those really jump out to you, Matthew, as ones you think they could build a monster here? I mean, none of those are like elite jobs, even Syracuse at this point.
No, it's the carousel is mostly mid-major centric right now. We haven't really got like a big floodgate domino at the high major level yet. So I think that's coming, but right now we're still sort of like relative to like last year and 2 years ago, it does feel a little slow, Kai.
I'm very curious to see who gets these jobs. Boston College is a mid-major job, but
It
Georgia
is.
Tech, once a very proud program. I mean, 20 years ago they were in the Final Four. Arizona State should have money. I mean, they have so many alums, and it's a pretty easy place to recruit to. Syracuse, I agree, Jim. I don't know if it's obviously has the history, but it's basically one guy, and it's been a while. Actually, obviously since he retired, basically, they've struggled. So I wonder who they hire. Very curious.
Yeah, I'm curious if they go outside the family. Jerry McNamara is like going to the NCAA tournament
I
with
mean,
Siena, so are they going to
that's
go that route? Or
yeah.
I think you
Brian
have two good
Hodgson's
options there.
got,
Him and Hodgson has been in
yeah,
that
Oh,
mix
Brian
too
Hodgson's
as a
Hodgson.
New York
Yeah,
guy.
connections.
New York guy.
that'd
So
be a home run hire. Yes.
Yep. There's been whispers that like Randy Bennett might even finally leave St. Mary's for Arizona State. That's one worth watching. I did with Georgia Tech. I think it was reported that including revenue share, they're going to have like $5.5 million to pay the roster, and like that's just
It's not enough.
it's not really
yep,
enough to
not good.
compete in this day and age. So it's going to be tough to entice a really big name if you're not going to be
Hey,
able
I
to
heard Scott
provide
Cross
money.
though in the mix there. That would be he's a guy you could
Wow.
convince to do more with less since that's kind of all he's done at Troy. So if
Yep.
you want to, I guess if you're on the cheaper end of the spectrum, I think Scott Cross for Georgia Tech would be an awesome hire. If those are really the limitations of resources that they're going to work with, for sure.
Yep. Sorry, I had a quick freeze. Just waiting for Matthew to finish. We're still here. Others that are now open, St. Bonaventure, a little surprising. Kai, is Woj
Yeah.
getting rid of Mark Schmidt? Is it all Woj?
I see some Bonnie's fans that are stoked about this, and I'm just kind of like, be careful what you wish for. It's just like there's so many examples of this where guys fire a coach that has been objectively very good. Most people thought Schmidt was the best coach in the A10 for a long time, and maybe he lost a step, maybe Schertz surpassed him, yada yada. But he's still an awesome coach, and with the Bonnie's limitations, I do not think Woj is causing them to get more players. That's just ridiculous thinking. He's not that big of a draw. It's St. Bonaventure. Um, and they're going to hire their next coach, Jim, for peanuts. They already said. So maybe that's part of it. They just didn't want to pay Schmidt anymore, which I guess it's not the worst strategy to think of outside the box.
Yeah, I think it was, I want to say it was Boston College that he thought about going to, and then
Hmm.
Bonaventure like matched or got closer to the financial package and kept him around. And obviously didn't last a whole ton longer than that. But I'm with you, Kai. Be careful what you wish for is exactly what came to mind. Like there's a chance that program's really not good for some time. Like he what fell to 201st in Ken Palm one year. If that program has a 250th year, I would not be shocked at
Same.
all.
Yeah.
Pepperdine is open. Ed Schilling was never really one that we were encouraged by. Just didn't work out there. I think it was like a culture fit, but
Yeah.
basketball wise, just not good enough.
2 years
2
gone.
years. UNC Greensboro, I was a little surprised by Mike Jones
I was
being
too.
out there. Yeah, had kind of a bad season this year, but they were really young, playing like a ton of freshman guards. Think you let that team develop, but I don't know. This feels like the AD has somebody in mind, and I think Jared Haas has been thrown around, Kai. So the old Stanford boss.
Yeah, but I'm surprised, Jim. He's excellent. Mike Jones for 4 years and excellent at Radford. I think he's a great coach. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, then some more lower level ones. Ball State, Michael Lewis out there. The MAC really turned over Northern Illinois. No more Sean Burno. Eastern Michigan, Stan Heath out. Western Michigan, Dwayne Stevens out. Little Rock, no Daryl Walker anymore, which is a bummer because they just got ravaged by injuries year after year. Probably hurt his chances there. And then Louisiana Monroe, Kai, Phil Cunningham lasted 1 year.
Oh yeah, man, I totally forgot he was coaching there.
Yeah.
What's the point of firing him? I don't know. But it's fine.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Nobody wants that job.
They have a new AD. He is the
Okay.
youngest AD in the country at 33 years old.
That's annoying.
Okay. So this is going to be like a Zach
It's-
Chu
it's-
hire. He's going to hire some like brainiac, maybe not a basketball coach, or like
He
hire some guy
sounded.
whose dad has
I'll be
money.
honest. He was pretty. He sounded pretty sharp on the Curry Hicks age. Like I think he actually will make a smart hire. He understands. He gets it. I think he's actually a smart guy. The old guy was just like a. It was like Cunningham's former boss at Troy, and just like did him a favor. He's like, "Hey man, I got one more year left here. Just come coach the boys for a year before I walk out the door." So yeah, tough.
Was not a good year for Monroe, so it sort of makes sense
ATS,
that
pretty
turned
good year for Monroe actually. Shockingly, I don't know how
okay.
that happened.
Oregon State hired Justin Joyner, former assistant at St. Mary's, has been on the Michigan staff. It's always I like interesting when these get announced while postseason runs are still happening. Joyner
Yeah.
probably not leaving the way Jay Lucas did at leaving Duke last year to go to Miami. But Joyner there, probably a good hire. We'll do our coaching grades thing in the offseason for sure. San Diego hired J.R. Blunt, Iowa State assistant, was also under Nico Medved at Colorado State, and a good name there. Tarleton State hired Eric Hout, the associate head coach at Utah State. Utah State just produces head coaches constantly.
Did you guys see the video of the locker room when Calhoun had Eric Hout announce to his team that he got the Tarleton State job? It was very cool.
No.
It was very cool.
Okay.
All the
Teams
players like
teams
mobbed
pumped.
him. They were very excited for him. Clearly a
Was
very
there like the
beloved.
water bottle dumping?
It was more so he got emotional and they all just like, "Ah, let's go."
Okay.
It was
Nice.
a very nice
That's
moment.
like it's like when the walk-on gets a scholarship video. I love
Yes.
those quite a bit.
Yes.
And then Tennessee Tech. Remember the old name Tobin Anderson, Matthew,
Handsome Tobin.
of Fairleigh Dickinson and Iona fame. He was an assistant at South Florida this year. Seems like a pretty good hire to me, man.
All these hires are good. I think they're going to get more and more. We're filtering out the fat of stupidity, I think, in college sports in a lot of ways. I mean, these are all objectively very good hires. I mean, Eric Howe, just for context, he was I believe, the brainchild behind the Northern Kentucky zone. And then Calhoun picked him off because he played against him and was so impressed by it. And the Horizon brings him to Utah State, obviously doing good work there. So, yeah, kind of a unique kind of brand with him. But yeah, he's a really good young assistant. I think people have heard or read more about Joyner and Blunt just because they're at bigger programs, clearly. But Joyner, I'm confused why he took it. Is that a weird take?
You
I know
think he
he's
could have
kind
gotten
of
something better eventually?
It's the
no, so I think
Pac-12,
he's
Matthew.
got
The
family ties out
Pac-12.
there. Yeah, I
Who
just
doesn't
feel
want
like
to
that these
coach in the
elites,
Pac-12?
if you're in an elite power school and you're one of the top assistants, I think you can stay there and make elite money and just wait for like a dream type job. But I think he has family, so it's an exception. But like I think without those circumstances, that would be my play if I were like Jeff Linder, right, or Griff Aldrich at Virginia. Like just wait till like a true high elite major opens
Would
to jump. If
Would
it's
you go
going well,
coach San Diego like J.R. Blunt and live in
I
San
think San
Diego?
Diego's an exception. Yeah,
Yeah. Matt, are you
whether
implying the Corvallis and San Diego are not the same?
I'm not. I would
Fine.
never say that. I've never said that. Don't put words in my mouth, Jim.
All right,
But
good.
no, they are not the same.
To your point, Matt, I think the influx of more money in the sport probably means there's got to be more efficient hires. And
Yeah.
like you can't beat around the bush there. You've got to have the approval of typically fairly smart people. But yeah, we'll grade hires in the offseason. Let's talk injuries really quick. Matthew, your Duke Blue Devils are ailing. That is the concern here. Caleb Foster, foot fracture, out indefinitely. It seems crazy that the idea that he would actually play even in 3 weeks after having surgery. Like, could he play at the Final Four? I don't know. Pat Ngungba also ailing, not playing in the ACC tournament. This kind of makes the Blue Devils a little more mortal. I know Florida State's playing great, but man, they were with them the whole way, winning at halftime. I think they had like a 7-point lead in the second half. There's just no depth, Matthew, for your Blue Devils if both these guys are out.
Yeah, that's the depth is what's gonna is killing. It's basically what a 7.5 in rotation now, and you really need like big minutes from Harris and Kamenia, who are obviously very talented. No one's gonna feel sorry for Duke, but that certainly gives them an element of kind of more downside risk where I think they're at higher risk of like a bad performance where they could get picked off. Where before this, I just didn't see a world where Duke was losing before the Final Four, like unless they were
Yeah.
paired with maybe Florida, but like I just hard to see it with the way they were constructed defensively. But yeah, I mean we'll see how long. I mean, but the key for me is Big Pat up front. I mean defensively he's just a game changer. So
Yep. And that allows Malik Brown to be like the Swiss Army knife 20-minute a game guy instead of 35-minute center.
yeah,
Like,
Brown's kind of like a risky defender. Like he likes to take roll the dice a little bit, and he can be exposed as like the primary five guy. So yeah, I just a lot of the moving parts there kind of fell apart. Duke's gonna be fine, but there's certainly mm,
did
a
you
little
see how
nerviness.
Florida State defended Caden Boozer?
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
mean, they were nowhere near, even when he was like 15 feet from the hoop, they're just like, go
yeah.
ahead, just shoot. If
I
you
like
shoot
Locks,
25
man.
times today,
I
yeah,
think
I do
Locke's a
too.
good coach. I
Yep.
really I've come around to that conclusion. I think he knows
Yep.
what he's doing.
Agreed, Matthew. Agreed. And then Clemson's Carter Welling tore his ACL. This was a bummer to watch. It's just like one of those you kind of knew as he tried to explode upwards off it and couldn't and immediately grabbed his knee. Clemson still beat UNC. I guess obviously they were shorthanded too, but gotta limit the upside a little bit. Their whole strength was just having a monster group of big men they play that high-low offense with. They've got some size. Limits the upside for sure, Kai.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Brownell is kind of a wizard, so if they make the Sweet 16, not surprised. But yes, I bet on UNC yesterday because of Welling, and they shoved it up my butt.
Yep. In the words of our overlord Trilly Donovan, Brad Brownell is immortal. He
Yes,
is
yes.
immortal. Other random news and notes. Yeah, we were going to talk about this with the Big 12 tournament, but the floor is already gone. It lasted, I think, 3 of the 5 days. The LED floor, Christian Anderson slipped and had a groin injury. Some guys said it gave them headaches.
Yeah.
It's not a basketball court. Also, as many people pointed out, if you're going to have this unbelievable LED screen, why is gray on gray the court you come up with for that? Like it never made any sense. I'm pretty happy that it's happening, Kai. And then you can comment on the little report here, Snafu.
Yeah, well, yeah, Tanner McGrath, who we know, tweeted, "This is happening. That they're changing out the courts." And Seth Davis responded, "We're tweeting out unconfirmed reports," being the policeman that he usually is on Twitter, the wet blanket that he is.
And then like wasn't an hour later they're like posting pictures of them changing the floor.
Confirmed everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
The floor, the close up photos of this floor were horrible. They were like uneven. Uh, Multiple players, like you said, say they were slipping, and
Oh, it
multiple
was
guys said they
so
were getting.
bad. And yeah.
How could you not get
You can
headaches?
see people every game. There's like even
Yeah.
like just small subtle instances. You can see it. Like it was
Game
visible to me.
Game one, Frank Kaminsky was on Twitter as well. Was like, "You have to change this floor. Like it looks horrible. Like these guys are gonna get hurt."
Yep.
What a stupid idea.
Oh wait, no,
What a
guys
stupid
did get
idea.
hurt. Here's my take on the floor. It's ridiculous. I've been critical of the commissioner Brent Yormark. I think he's an absolute loser. Um, did it look cool? Sure, but if the risk profile of the safety is jeopardized by even 1%, it's a bad idea. Like you can't do that. And that you've like people talking about like they had like headaches and migraines. Like you had Texas Tech had 2 huge injuries. Like if you're Grant McCaslin and you're going to be without Christian Anderson and maybe well, I don't know how serious they end up being, right? But like I would like sue the commissioner. Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
The floor
I-
the floor cannot be any less safe with whatever you're doing. That's like a baseline ask.
I can't remember if it was
Baseline.
Goodman or Rothstein tweeted like you have like it's eight or 4 quarterfinals with 8 NCAA tournament teams. You have national title contenders, top 10 teams. Why are you doing a gimmick? Like
Yeah,
why does
right. You
your
don't need exactly.
conference
It's so
like
stupid.
this should be like the NEC or something, or like the Sun Belt has a LED floor with its stairway to seven. Like
There's probably
there's
a
no way the
100-person
Big
Big
12
12 marketing group that's overstaffed and overpaid, and they just have nothing else to do. So it's like, how can we innovate something that doesn't need to be innovated? And they just
we can
sat
get
there.
more ad space because we can change the ad sponsor on the court at any time, any moment. Like, oh, you get the under 12 timeout ad space. Yeah, it's dumb, it's bad, it's gone. Thankfully, we will have a wood floor for the semifinals and
Nice.
finals of the Big 12.
Yeah, great tweet, Jim. Really good tweet.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, went viral. Mini viral. Okay, we saw that. Let's get into we've saw that. This is mostly just going to be shouting out the teams that have won their conference tournaments, a little bit of other stuff at the end, but WCC Gonzaga goes out on top. I believe they end under Mark Few. They end his tenure like 55-6 in the WCC tournament, which I saw some people like, well, look at the format. It makes it easier. It's like, no, it makes it harder. They only get to win 2 games every year, and they're playing good teams instead of like an opening round game against Pacific or somebody bad every year. They lost 6 times in the title game. They made the title every single year under Mark Few.
It's insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Great coach. Great coach.
Yeah. Graham EK, awesome. Few had a nice post game interview. It was like, I don't get why he's not an All American. We're like 30, 31-3, and he's pouring in numbers.
Good question. Yeah, he should
Yeah.
be. Right? That's still a possibility.
I think he said like first. He's like, why is he not a unanimous
Oh.
first team guy? Which,
Well, I don't know, Mark. There's a lot of players out there.
really good freshmen and stuff too. Arch Madness was won by Northern Iowa for the first time in a decade, which felt very surprising. Healthy, this team is really good. They're going to be a thorn in someone's side, Matthew, because they can play really slow and defend. I think some power conference teams be like, damn it, like we get Ben Jacobson's Northern Iowa with talent this year. That's not fun.
I mean, I think one of my thoughts is just like all the bid punchers so far are, I think, a lot more giant killer profiles. Like I think Hofstra is very similar to Northern Iowa in this, like really good defensively, big, don't play slow, execute. I have guys that can make tough. I mean, yeah, I hope they compete and I hope they get one. I mean, it's just Jacobson's been there for so long. I love that they stuck with him, and I think that longevity. It would be cool to see that longevity paid off with the dub in round one.
Yeah, one team that got in that is good, but I don't think is structured the right way is High Point. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
they're back. Flynn Clayman, great coach, good job in his first season taking over for Huss, but I don't know they're structured as the giant killer. Really talented team, but they're up and down. We'll see. But back-to-back champs. As Matt mentioned, Hofstra out of the CAA, first time they're playing in the tournament since 2001. They did win the conference tournament in 2020, but did not actually get to play. Speedy Claxton played in 2000 for Jay Wright. It's just kind of cool that it brought Claxton to tears before the game even ended. Like, just pumped to be able to bring his alma mater back to the big dance. That was a very cool moment. And similarly, North Dakota State also won their tournament in 2020, did not get to play in the NCAA tournament. They are back as well. Dave Richmond's fourth conference tourney title. Kai, which one of those two do you think is more dangerous in the NCAA tournament?
Hofstra, without a doubt, Jim. Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I wrote for Basket and Review, I wrote the Ticket Punched article about Hofstra, and it's like they're awesome defensively. You don't get layups, and they have two insane scoring guards.
Yeah.
Like, usually with your mid-major, you like want the slow pace or scoring guards. They've got both. Like, I think that team is scary.
They played 3 power teams this year, all on the road. They barely lost to UCF. They beat Pitt. They beat Syracuse. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Team is good. Team is good. We mentioned Jerry McNamara earlier. Siena won the MAAC, the MAAC. First bid since 2010 when Fran McCaffrey was in charge.
Wild.
They were getting like 9 seeds, and Ronald Moore was causing Bill Raftery to lose his mind. An Onions double order, as I recall. So that is exciting. Horizon Wright State won that tournament. Best team all year. Excellent work by Clint Sargent, second year coach who had taken over for Scott Nagy. They're pretty deep. They've got a lot of homegrown players. I actually really like watching them play. I think they were up like 9 in the semifinals and did it off the backboard alley-oop in the open floor. It was just like, oh, this team's got a little bit of Dunk City swagger to them. I like to see that. The ASUN Queens captures their first bid ever. I think their first or second year of eligibility to be in the tournament. They get it done in the conference tournament. Wild game.
I guess they changed the rule to 3 years. This is their 4th year. It would be their first year of eligibility, I think. Actually, or they would. Is it 4 years then you're eligible, or you're eligible in your 4th? Used to be.
This year it's now you're eligible in your 4th. It
So
used
this
to
would
be.
So they basically, this is it. Their 4th year. So good rule change.
Yeah, wild championship game where they choked away a lead against pressure, could not break a press. Cameron Hunter had 49. We'll talk about that.
I wanted to see UCA. I did. Queens is fun.
Ew.
I wanted to see Central
Why?
Arkansas.
Cameron Hunter's
They're
awesome.
good.
He's
But
like
beyond Cameron
he's a
Hunter,
beast.
they're like, ugh.
They got some other good players. I kind of like that roster. And
I think
Schulman's a great
win
coach.
they win that title game if they have other good players besides the guy putting up 49.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Queens is good. We like Grant Leonard.
Queens, boy,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to get hot, or else they're gonna get smoked.
Yeah, the physicality concerns there playing
Are we
up a
sure
level
Queens is
that's
not a
concern.
better job than like Milwaukee, where Leonard's former boss Bart Lundy is currently at? That might be a stretch, but
I call it.
Yeah, I don't know.
A little
I don't know
stretch,
the
I suppose.
money
Okay.
scenario behind both of those.
Wasn't
schools.
Elon gonna absorb Queens for a bit? Or they're still gonna like?
they're
team
still
up?
doing
Yeah,
that.
there's-
I don't know.
That's right.
Oh, that's sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the Sun Belt, Troy won back-to-back titles. We mentioned Scott Cross earlier. Troy only had to win 2 games. They defeated Georgia Southern in the title game, who had won almost 6 in 6 days. Wild run for Georgia Southern. 2 different 40-point performances on one on their side, one on the other side in their conference tourney. It was a kind of wild tournament the way we expected with the way the seeding fell out. My favorite stat from it is Troy took first place in the league. Then there were 6 teams tied for second. Those teams combined for 0 conference tournament wins. The 6 that tied for second.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah, really, really bizarre stuff there. Furman won the SoCon tournament, the second NCAA tournament for Bob Ritchie. I see Kai put in farewell tour question mark here. Is he going to end up at Georgia Tech or something like that? We'll see.
Yeah, he always wanted Clemson, but I wonder if he'd take another job if it was offered to him now.
Knowing that
Clemson's
Brad
not gonna
Brownell
open up.
is immortal. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, he's done a nice job of building it internally. I think they have two D1 transfers, and Johnson is a D2 transfer, but then they played like multiple freshmen. Their best, arguably the best two players, Bowser and Alex Wilkins, are internal recruits. So he always tried to play that way and gets his second bid there. His first bid, as you will all recall, big upset of Virginia. That was a fun
Yeah.
game to watch in Vegas.
And was that the year that they were like the only team that didn't have a transfer, like transfer out of the program? He like
Oh,
had,
some yeah,
so he's very good continuity coach. He gets guys to
yep,
stay there.
very much so. Idaho won the Big Sky. Pribble is a fantastic coach. I think we've been talking about basically since he was hired, and suddenly they run through it. They were the 7 seed. I did not see this one coming,
They're
Kai.
a lot better than the 7 seed though. They're like in Kim Palm, they're higher than that. I've watched this team and they're good. They got some guys, and also Brady Roberry is going to be a tournament darling because of how goofy he is. He's just a big galoot, a big ogre in there. He looks like I don't even know. I don't have a good the Yeti. How about a Yeti? Basically that
I like that.
snow monster.
It was always like a bizarre transfer to me, southeastern Louisiana up to Idaho, but he's from Idaho. He's from Meridian, Idaho, so he's
Okay.
coming back home, helping lead the boys to the NCAA tournament. Yeah, congrats to Idaho, the Vandals. McNeese won the Southland back to back to back. No Will Wade, no problem.
Yeah.
Well done by Bill Armstrong. They survived the semifinals against Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah.
That was an ugly game. Kind of got lucky that two of Rio Grande Valley's best players fouled out and couldn't play in the second overtime. But hey, they got it done. They beat Stephen F. Austin in the rubber match in the title game. OVC, Matty, your boy Nolan Smith got to tip the cap. I think we razz the hire, but first time since 1994, and he does it in his first season.
Hmm.
I have to respect it.
I do too. Like he has good talent. He probably has the most talent in the league. It's funny, like we talk about the Dante Harris, Georgetown Big East fans remember that name from circa 2010, and he's like not even their best player. He's like their third best player. Um, so yeah, cool. Him and because Smith was on staff at Memphis when Harris was there, so I guess that's how they rekindled. Anyway, yeah, fun team. I think they'll get waxed. Frankly, I just think talent is your superpower. You step up against better teams, and that's just going to get exposed. That's my thought there.
Yeah, they might avoid the play-in 16, so they will get smacked in their first game. Yes.
Yeah, Arizona, Duke, Michigan.
Oh
Good
my
luck to
goodness.
whichever
Yeah.
one you end up with there. They will be above Lehigh and well, maybe not LIU. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
it's
Lehigh
awesome.
won the
Yeah.
Patriot League, a crazy tournament with multiple buzzer beaters.
Unbelievable.
Lehigh won on a half quarter. The number one seed Navy went down on a weird buzzer beater against Boston U where the clock didn't start on time, and I'm not sure it should have counted in hindsight, but it happened, and now we have Lehigh in the tournament for I think the first time since they beat Duke. Somebody had a sign in the crowd that said "We want Duke again," which I loved. It's
I I
fantastic.
love that as well. Yeah, I forgot about Lehigh hitting a half quarter. So they got lucky to be here, and then yeah, if you had Navy and a bunch of conference tournament parlays like we did, and good price on Navy, that was so brutal. The clock definitely started late, Jim, and all the remedy was putting more time on the clock,
Made
which
no sense.
I don't think that's allowed. I think it should be hand time and see if you got it off because there was no time left. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep,
But
I think it
I
was like
digress.
yeah.
We
I
lost
don't know
you
if you hand
for
time
a
if it
second.
took 4.0 seconds. Yeah, because it was supposed to be 3.6, and then he's dribbling the ball. Time expires, but it's because it started late. So yeah, we were expecting hand time and bizarre end to that as well.
Mhm.
And then LIU wins the NEC Kai. Not only did they get the auto bid by being in the final against a team that was ineligible, they did also beat Mercyhurst.
We lost you for a
LIU beat
second.
Mercyhurst. LIU
Yes.
beat Mercyhurst
Oh,
to our
you're back.
chagrin, Kai. Yes.
Gotcha. Yes, LIU did beat Mercyhurst indeed. They're talented, but they're a 16 seed. They will get waxed.
Yep. Had a little more up tempo, and talent just can't help you, can't save you against the one seed. Got to be kind of unconventional, play slow, take a bunch of threes, minimize possessions. I think that's the recipe there. Other big storylines: UConn blew the Big East title by losing at Marquette, Kai, and Dan Hurley blew a gasket. I saw an interview with John Fanta over Zoom where he's doing his calm, like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I got to be better. Like he almost hit a ref, and he's like, well, we could ask the ref. He could say I didn't hit him. Like I know, but don't do that.
You made contact, and also he like leaned in like Michael Jackson's like signature move. There's a nice photo of it, him like 45-degree lean into the ref. Classic Hurley. Yeah.
Yeah, and my favorite part of the interview too is he was like, and then I looked and it wasn't even a foul. Like I was wrong. Like,
Oh, really?
so
I'd
maybe that
say
should teach you.
over half the time he complains it's not really a foul.
Yep, yep. Now that was it was vintage Hurley. Santa Clara is looking good for their first bid since 1996. They did not win the
I hope
WCC
so.
tournament, but they did beat St. Mary's in the semis, put up a game effort against Gonzaga in the title game. Yeah, Kai, I think they deserve to be in. Herbie Sendek done a great job.
I hope so too. And maybe he'll get the Providence job. We speculated last week. We'll see.
Yep, yep. Miami of Ohio should be in despite the loss in the MAC quarterfinals. Matthias, obviously 31-0 is still 31-0. They're in great shape in resume metrics, wins above bubble. They're well above the cut line. I know this is somehow controversial because they haven't played a Q1 game. That's the whole point of the new system is that we can evaluate teams without having to have Q1 games. We can compare them across different schedules because of wins above bubble. And this team, to me, has fully, completely earned it. I would be staggered if they're not in the field.
Yeah, I've been defending this team all year. The Travis Steele's post game presser was a little. You can just tell the cumulative frustration of like listening to this narrative all year just as like got to him, and of course they lose game one, and yeah, he was like kind of just throwing some shots. Like he's like, I give two shits about the two bid Mac. Like, sorry, Mac, I just don't care. I just would care about my team getting in. Paraphrasing there. And he was just, if you have 10 minutes, Kai, listen to it. It was,
Yeah.
I think Xavier fans are sort of feeling vindicated because they weren't super in on his sort of tone there when he was at Xavier, and it was kind of came out. The bad of Travis still kind of came out in
I think
that post game press.
yeah, one of his things he said was like, once you get fired, man, you just don't care anymore. Like so he's like that was like part of his thing. It would be a colossally bad look for the NCAA to leave out a 31 in one team, a team that went undefeated in the regular season. I don't think it'll happen, Jim.
Yeah,
I
I,
think they'll
I,
get in.
I would be shocked. I would bet with anybody if somebody wants to take the Miami misses the tournament bet right now against me.
Yeah.
I would pony up on the other side.
I
Hey, they
An
won at a
escrow.
team in the field. They have a road win against a team in the field,
There you go.
baby. Right state.
And
And they won at
whoever
Akron.
and
Who's the
whoever
better team?
wins.
Let's be honest about it. Akron's the better team.
I could talk about an hour, Jim, about how stupid the diatribes on Twitter are about how bad they are, yada yada. People don't understand the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament, but we won't. It'll be a long podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna refer to something somebody sent me, but I think they want it not brought up publicly, so I will protect that person.
Okay.
It was a good joke though. Auburn 17-16. They're like right in the cut line with WAB. I think you have to keep them out because of that. The WAB is so bunched up where like one team is 0.3 plus, another's negative 0.2, and they're like 10 spots apart. I do think after like spot 42-ish, the committee can get a little bit more subjective. And I think Kai, that's where 17-16. Just
Yeah.
I think it was somebody on a TV broadcast was like, they're getting punished for playing a tough schedule. Like, no, they're being punished for losing a lot against a tough schedule.
Corey Alexander was saying
Yes,
stuff like that.
just win more games.
Yeah.
Just win more games.
Yeah, Corey Alexander also said that like Red Autry and Damon Stoudemire would win more games than Miami if they had Miami's schedule, which is ridiculous because they lost to worse
No.
teams than Miami. So I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, Corey Alexander's horrible. No team's ever made it with 16 losses as an at-large. No team's ever made it with one game over 500 as an at-large. They're 7-15 against Q1, Q2 with 4 Q1 wins. Their wins aren't even that great.
Yeah.
There's no
Just
way they
beat
should be in.
Beat Ole Miss at home.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
that's the game. That's
You're
if
in.
you can't win that game, that's not a hard schedule thing. That is you lost to a worse team at home that's not going to make the tournament.
Also,
That's
why
your
do we
fault.
put Bruce Pearl on the selection show? I mean, we have power to not do that. And I really, it's very annoying to me. We're making a spectacle of it, and it's just an obvious thing, right? So he gets to be on a soapbox on national television about his son's team. It's just such a shame that they're allowed.
Well,
that
it's
to happen.
good TV for people who care about that. Yeah,
Yes.
he looked really cool at the SEC tournament throwing
Yeah.
verbal haymakers at the.
Oh yeah.
The,
Who's he
Not-
yelling at? The refs.
Ref.
Okay.
The potential for Miami versus Auburn is at least enticing enough for me at first four game, but that's going to be like such a everyone confirms a narrative if no matter what happens there. So I don't know if I want to see it. I think it'd be fun, but God, it would be a headache if Auburn won or something. Let's talk quick individual scoring performances. AJ DeBanza set the Big 12 freshman scoring record, Big 12 tournament freshman scoring record, that is. He had 40 in BYU's opening game. That topped one Kevin Durant had 37 way back in 2007.
Heard of him?
We, yep. Yeah, good player. We mentioned Central Arkansas's Cam Hunter with 49 in the OT loss in the ASUN title game. I felt very bad for him. He was unbelievable in that game. Every time he touched the ball, he scored.
Wisconsin could have used him that 1 year reset
Yeah.
out, man. He is really good.
Last year, barely saw. I think he had some injury stuff that was part of it, but man, he is insanely good. Georgia Southern's Tyron Moore had 40 versus Coastal in Georgia Southern's run. We mentioned last week that I think it was Jordan Battle had 40 against Georgia Southern. Mississippi State's Josh Hubbard had 42 in their regular season finale against Georgia. Boy, that guy can score. I wonder if he gets a ginormous portal bag or if he stays in Starkville this summer. And then Donovan Dent had 12, 10, and 12, a triple double. Oh, I skipped Money Williams. Sorry, Money Williams. Montana's Money Williams had 40 against Northern Colorado. Well done. They did not win the conference tournament, but they made the title game. And then Dent, yes, had a triple double against Rutgers last night in the Big Ten tournament. 12, 10, and 12. Well done, Mr. Dent. Still a very good player despite kind of a weird system fit there.
Yeah, UCLA Jim, top 30 team right now. Mick
Yeah.
Cronin. Sky is no longer falling.
I'm back.
Kind of. Jim is. I will take the next section. We bad losses. Indiana Northwestern was not great. Jim, you're back now, but Indiana lost Northwestern. You can't do that. And I couldn't help but
Second time in 3 weeks.
yeah, I couldn't help but compare DeVries to Woodson's final year. They're both 45 in Ken Palm.
That's
Which is
incredible.
very funny. And they're one game apart in record.
Yeah, there was some outcry from the IU fans of like how poorly built their roster was and like bad talent eval. And for the price that was spent on it, yeah, I would tend to agree. They've got to do better next season.
Yeah. You realize you
All
need
right,
big
let's
guys. That's
talk
what he said.
conference tourneys, Kai, that are still going. We can be kind of quick with these because the shelf life is not going to be very long. Not a big shelf life on these. But first, Kai, shout out to Home Field Apparel.
Home field apparel, that's where you can get the best college basketball apparel in the entire world. Comfiest t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies you'll ever own with multiple schools and multiple new designs and fun items coming out all the time from these guys based in Indiana. They're basketball guys. They're from the Indiana state. That's awesome. Their recent collection, the House of, or the Hoop Society, House of Hoops, I don't know why I can't remember what it's actually called, is excellent. Mesh shorts and shooting shirts. They just came out with two-toned hats. They look really cool. Of course, Mizzou's looks awesome. Am I considering buying it? Yes, even though I already have every single Mizzou item that they've ever put out. You should also go to their website and check out their clothes for yourself. If you went to one of those schools, it's a no-brainer. Even if you didn't, they have a lot of cool, unique schools like Colorado School of Mines. Surely you want a shirt that says Colorado School of Mines. Go to homefieldapparel.com today. Shop your school or the other school and use our promo code 3MW at checkout to get 15% off your first purchase. That's Homefield, wear one for the team.
Well done, Kai. Let's hope, with Matt stepping out for a second, let's hope we can battle through old Jimbo's internet issues here. Could be tough for the back and forth if it's just Kai on a soapbox trying to cover for my pauses.
Oof.
You got this. You got this, Mr. McEwen. All right. Yeah, we're going to go through the 15 conference tournaments that are still going, and we'll have finals on Saturday and Sunday, starting with the ACC. It's in Charlotte. Duke, the heavy favorite, despite the near loss to Florida State, definitely showed their mortality, their vulnerability. Florida State was fantastic. I would also point out, Kai, that the ACC bubble teams just flopped. Stanford lost right away. Cal lost right away. Who else am I forgetting? Oh,
SMU.
Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah, Tech. Yeah.
Yep.
The teams that were kind of like already on the outside of the bubble did nothing to play themselves in. Yeah.
Yep. SMU got one win over Syracuse. NC State got one okay win. NC State probably good to go. SMU, very, very bubbly.
It's one of those teams where you can see almost everybody in bracket matrix having them in, but they're a surprise team that gets left out. I think they make it, but it's possible that they miss.
Yep, very much so. So we've got Clemson, Duke, Virginia, Miami in the semis, Kai. Kind
Top
of a
four,
fun
right?
little
Or
little group there.
not New
I think UNC was the 4, Clemson
Yeah.
was the 5,
Mhm.
but yeah. I'm wondering if anybody's going to topple Duke. It doesn't matter for Duke seeding, their region. We know exactly where they're going to be. But it's still a loss with this group without Foster might make it interesting before the tourney.
Yeah, it's Duke for me, Jim.
Still Duke for you? I'll say Virginia.
Okay.
I'll say Virginia. Odom, come on. Odom in March. Kai,
Yeah.
UMBC.
Yeah.
What a guy. All right, the Big 12, Kansas City. Yes, we are playing on a basketball court now. It's awesome. Great quarterfinals, at least the matchups. Some of the games weren't quite what you're hoping for with Iowa State, a massive blowout. Arizona just punked UCF from the opening tip. Turns out Arizona's really good. It is definitely Arizona for me, Kai. It's not
Yeah.
Kansas. Houston wasn't, they got it done against BYU, but not their sharpest performance.
No.
It's Arizona's just so good.
And KU almost lost TCU. Yeah, so Kansas, Houston, and Arizona, Iowa State. 2 really good games. I think it's Arizona against Houston, though. And I think Arizona wins. That's the prediction.
I'm with you. God, I love how poorly this stuff could age in like
Yeah.
hours.
Oh, could be
Like,
just
by
totally trash.
Friday night.
Out the window.
Yeah, I guess these are at least Friday night games. They're not Friday day games. The Big Ten in Chicago in our backyard. Neither of us are going.
No.
Matt not going either. We will be in the NCAA tournament games at the United Center. We're gonna head up for that. Sweet 16 and Elite 8, but not the Big Ten tournament. Michigan, the big favorite. This tournament is still at the quarterfinals as we record, Kai. So a little bit more open. This is where you can really make a bold prediction.
Michigan. No, I
There's
actually
the
think
bold prediction.
I'm actually taking Michigan State, Matthew. That's who I'm going to take in the Big Ten here. I believe in the Spartans.
Uh,
Matt wasn't
I
ready
kind of
for
think so
this.
too. I think
Really?
so too.
Really?
Yeah.
Michigan State?
I think
Oh.
they exact revenge against Michigan, but it amounts to nothing of meaning in the grand scheme of the season. So
They have to go through Illinois still. Michigan does. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna take Illinois. That's my pick.
okay. There you go.
It's fine. Okay, Illinois for me. There, I'm not super threatened by Purdue. Purdue, Nebraska will be a fun game though.
It will
So
be.
looking forward to watching that. All right, let's go to the SEC in Nash Vegas. Is anyone going to beat Florida? We already discussed Auburn. Kai, are our Tigers going to make it? Mizzou Tigers right near the cut line in terms of wins above bubble.
Yes, that's the only thing that's holding us back, I think, is like the resume metrics are right on the cut line. But everything else looks good. Except predictive. I think they're going to be in Dayton, Jim, or just outside of it at the end of the day. 11 seed for sure for Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 Q1 wins, 2. I kind of think Missouri's got a good resume. I think.
Yeah. Well, they are, and sorry, Jim,
Against
you're going
Mizzou.
out right now, but they're 100% ahead of Auburn. So that's all I know. They are 100% ahead of Auburn.
100% ahead of Texas. Also, I
They
would
beat
say.
Auburn as well, I believe Mizzou did.
Did we split with them? I can't remember.
Maybe split. Yeah.
I think with no bad losses and 5 Q1 wins, 2 of them being Q1A. I know the non-conference stuff is awful, but I think they did enough in league play. Picks.
It's Florida for me, dog. I consider
Picks.
Arkansas.
I'm
though,
saying
Matthew.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah, Matthew.
I consider Arkansas as well, but I'm going to go Florida.
Okay. Yeah, it's their playground. Nobody else is physical. I saw a stat that the top 3 teams in the country.
Your stat went out, Jim, right as you're about.
Yeah,
to
I
give it.
know. I'm about to fucking throw my computer through the window. I'm so angry. But the
Oh no, Matthew.
Kai,
go.
wait.
Go
I
ahead.
want to. I had a. Sometimes when you put hot takes in Discord, you do it too quickly, and you need to let it marinate. And it's nice you can kind of go back and revise your messages, which is I said
edit?
yes, and I said guards I would take over Jacoby Gillespie, none, with apologies to Kingston Flemings. And then I had to add Darius Acuff because I forgot he existed, and I think he belongs in that tier.
I think Darius Acuff has the biggest All-American surge, like late in the season I can ever remember. Because a month ago, nobody was talking about Acuff or even close to All-American, and now it's like consensus first-team All-American for Acuff. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, just saying the groundswell of people noticing him, I guess, has just hit a tipping point.
Yeah, I mean they play so fast, averaging like 23 and 7,
Yeah.
and like he's fun to watch because I think he's like a little even better shot maker than people expected. Like that was maybe one of his small weaknesses, and he's like an unbelievable shooter. Okay, Big East. It's at the Garden, John Fanta, Madison Square Garden, the Big East
It's the
tournament. He
Garden.
said that like 3 times yesterday. It's like this is the Big East tournament at the Garden. I'm like, I love this so much. I love
You'll
the passion.
you'll never know where you're like. You'll never have a question of where you are when you're watching a John Fanta broadcast. He'll tell you a million times
He
where
he brings you into the he
exactly
brings
who
you into
you're
the arena.
watching, and exactly where you are. I love
Yeah.
Fanta.
We got St. John's for Seton Hall in one semifinal, and gosh, I'm blanking on
Georgetown, Jim.
Georgetown.
Georgetown
That's
took
right.
down
They're making
Villanova.
their little run without KJ Lewis here. Patrick Ewing 2021 reincarnate. It's
I know.
back. The magic. Matthew,
Boy,
you're the big Ed Cooley at Georgetown hater. What do you say?
Yeah, this is worst case scenario. What if he wins it?
what if
Oh man,
Providence fires Kim English and Ed Cooley wins the Big East tournament?
they
How
rehire him. Providence calls and take Cooley is tired of Georgetown. He will take a pay cut to go back to Providence, and Providence fans will re-embrace him. I was just pissed off that DePaul bowed out against this annoyingly hot Georgetown team. I think I said the Iwachukwu has been just like a monster, and they got him back healthy, and I think he's kind of helped carry them. But I was just bummed about DePaul. I wanted to see DePaul and Marquette make long runs, and neither could advance out of the first round.
Yep. Unfortunate, but hey, that's life in March. Mountain West, yeah, it's at UNLV in Vegas. Utah State's in the semis. Kind of potentially a win and in game with San Diego State, New Mexico. I'm not positive it will be that, but it's close-ish to having that. It's probably losing out at least.
I yeah, it's New Mexico is ahead of San Diego State for sure. I think most have them just outside right now because of Miami of Ohio's loss. San Diego State is probably you have to win the tournament. And boy, this is a bid stealer alert, man. If one of those teams wins instead of Utah State, like Auburn, whatever chance you thought you had, you're done. Texas, you might be done. You're rooting for Utah State if you're right on the bubble. Also, did you guys see the Josh Pastner interview when he beat UNLV beat Wyoming in the first round? He
No, I missed it.
he was just like, "This is a moment for UNLV." He was like, "We haven't beaten a team not named Air Force in this tournament for this many years. Like, what a moment for us." And he's like, it's all meant to be." Like, I guess they lost to whoever a couple weeks ago, but because they lost that game, they got the 8th seed and they played Wyoming instead of playing Air Force. So he's like, "See, everything happens for a reason. Like, here we are." It was crazy. 8-9 winner. Josh Pastner's full of emotion, full of energy. Fun guy to listen to.
UNLV, one of the most erratic teams, buddy. Okay, the American is in Birmingham. They switched to the ladder format this year. I'm trying to talk as little as possible because my internet stinks. Matthew, South Florida, the heavy favorite. Do they get it done? I kind of think Tulsa is a threat here.
Oh, they're a big threat. It's sort of. I was thinking about comparing like Tulsa and South Florida to some of these bubble teams, and I know resume wise they don't stack up. But I think both would be interesting potential giant killers in the tournament. You don't think so?
Oh, it could be.
Kai?
I just think what's interesting is the American is going to be a one bid conference for the second year in a row. It's kind of fallen from a bit of grace. I guess because Memphis is the freaking 8th seed and they're just not good this year. But like South Florida, the best team, best resume, can't get in as an at large. It's going to be,
Yeah.
yeah. So the latter situation puts USF and Wichita in the semis. So it's like a Sun Belt thing. I think South Florida is going to win it. But yeah, Tulsa is the other team I got my eye on.
But I wanted to talk myself into them having a possible at-large case, but it's just not there,
I don't think so.
unfortunately.
They still could get an 11 though because of the format, like the bracketing formatting. I think they'll probably get an 11.
I thought
Kai, you mentioned
Wichita State
Memphis.
would be sorry, real quick. Wichita State would be a team I could see winning a game in the tournament too, just because they have real size and some shot making.
It'd be nice to see
A
them
lot of
back.
dangerous teams that were hurt this year in the AAC. I mean, Florida Atlantic's like a good team. They just totally fell off because their injuries late. Like that's not a bad team.
Kai, you mentioned Memphis being the 8th seed. They almost missed this entire tournament.
Yes.
They needed overtime
Yeah.
against Tulane on the final day of the season. Like,
Shocking.
So bad. Only the most resources in the league by a wide margin. That's all.
Yeah.
He's
All right,
back.
the A10. This is in Pittsburgh. Interesting. Not Brooklyn this year.
Duquesne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PPG Paints Arena. SLU and VCU the clear favorites, but man, yeah, this could be bid stealer central. There are good teams in this league. St. Bonaventure knocked off George Mason. The Bonnies on a little bit of a Mark Schmidt emeritus run. Dead man walking. Kai, what's your pick here? Do they actually get a bid stealer, or is it one of SLU or VCU?
I think it's SLU. Yes, so VCU is right in the cut line as well. Most people have them just inside, but they could be out. So you're still rooting for SLU here if you're a bubble guy. If VCU does not win, if SLU does not win, again, it is trouble, trouble, trouble. I was trying to think about similar teams to Auburn's resume. I just kept thinking about St. John's 2 years ago. Excellent schedule, better resume than Auburn right now. Would have definitely been in the tournament. We had so many bid stealers that year. That was the Indiana State year. They didn't even get in. It could happen if Mountain West and A10 go awry.
Yeah, that year I believe Pac-12 had a bid stealer with Oregon. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
everywhere. Like
Uh-huh.
technically five of them, if you counted New Mexico, who was like right barely above the cut line after winning the Mountain West tournament.
I'll take SLU. Matt.
Uh, I will take. Um, I think Duquesne's going to make a run. I really do. It has nothing to do with the home court. It's just, I think they're kind of a sneaky good team. I
Terrence
think they beat
Ginyard,
VCU
first
today.
team all conference.
You know who's starting to play well is Alex Williams from Furman, who I loved at Furman. I think he was hurt for most of the year. He's been kind of a beast, and like they have him, and they have like a kind of they're a get off the bus test team for sure, in my opinion. And they play St. Joe Davidson if they win, and then who the heck knows comes out of that top. God, George Washington. So, and I can see them being SLU today. By the way, I hope that doesn't happen, but I could see it.
They have the talent too, for sure. Yeah.
It's a bad matchup for SLU. G Dub's good like in kind of these open floor games.
All right. I literally can't. It just cuts out every 5 seconds. So I'm just gonna say something really quick and hope you guys hear it and leave the
We're
Big
ready.
West is in Henderson, Nevada. Family Dollar Tree Loan Arena.
Dollar
whatever it's called.
Loan. I think they changed the name, Jim. It's something else
It's
now.
family something.
Oh, okay.
Lee's Family
Used to be
Forum.
Dollar Loan.
That's what it is. Yep. UC Irvine, Hawaii into the semis. UC San Diego lost last night. I think it's going to be Irvine, Kai. I just think the defense is too good, and the format sets up well for them.
I'm taking Hawaii, but yeah, it would be fine with Irvine. Irvine or Hawaii would give teams problems in the NCAA tournament because of how good their defenses are. But CSUN, Matt, would be fun. I don't want Fullerton, but CSUN.
Fullerton got the 3 seed?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I heard Dedrick Taylor was on the hot seat. I think he's done a phenomenal job this year. Like they totally like we're doing something different. We're going balls to the wall. They got good guys and give him credit. George.
It's a mess here at the Weave this morning. The operation is struggling.
What an episode.
Let's stay in Vegas, Kai. The WAC. Utah Valley gets to play. Hooray. They almost weren't allowed to play.
Yeah.
Utah Valley and Cal Baptist buys to the semis. What do you think? Does Valley get it done in spite of the WAC?
Yeah, so Utah Valley had to put like $1 million in escrow or something because of the penalty they have to pay when they leave the conference. Thank goodness that got cleared up. I took Cal Bap, but Utah Valley is the clear best team in my opinion, and the team with the best chance to pull an upset in March. So I hope it's one of those two teams, Matthew.
I like Utah Valley as like a F all of you, you petty bastards, we're gonna lay waste to you type of angle. But is Hendricks, is he back healthy? I think he's like one of the better players in the entire league. He's a brother of former UCF standout Tyler Hendricks, or sorry, right? Who is the Jazz now? The UCF stud who was awesome at
Hendricks.
UCF.
Yeah. Hendricks.
Tyler. Yeah.
Tyler.
His younger bro is at Utah Valley now. He's really good. He's been hurt. I think he's key. I'm not sure if he's back. That's my take.
Good comp.
Big time
check.
floor spacer. There's your insight, Matthew. The Ivy is at Cornell, so your 1 seed Yale has to play a semifinal game on the road. Bizarre. Just the rotating locations. Yeah. Don't love it. Bring back no tournament, Kai?
No, but why do they do this? Why would you not just give the home court advantage to the 1 seed or neutral? It doesn't make any sense to me. We're going to give the home court advantage to the 4 seed. Home means nothing in this tournament or in this league, anyways. But how about Penn, man? Fred McCaffrey, you dog. I don't know why. I knew when I chose them 7th or 8th in the Ivy, I was incorrect, Matthew, right away. The preseason, because he's a great coach and He got it done. TJ Power had a solid year. I'll take Yale.
Uh, yeah, Yale. Harvard's talent is pretty. I mean, they're always
Talented.
talented, but
Yeah.
they they definitely pass the eye test. I've watched them play a couple of times. I still think Yale wins, but this is certainly like Yale's of all the years Yale gets in. We're always like looking at. I think this is my least excited I've been for a Yale team if they win, and that just sort of speaks to how good and how talented and how fun the prior versions have been. I will not be picking Yale most likely matchup. We'll see what the matchup is, but just
Yeah.
don't see it this year.
I'm picking Yale too. They just don't have a point guard.
Yeah.
Like nobody makes them better. Their 2 through 5 is fantastic, but it's bleak at the point guard spot. Apologies to Trevor Mullen.
Oh,
Conference
what's
USA
next?
in Huntsville, weird location, I guess.
Yeah.
Liberty won the league by 4 games, immediately lost to Michael O'Shea Bonsu, big boy in the paint, 14 to 16 from the field against Liberty. Uh, I went with Louisiana Tech in the pool, Kai. I've got a
Nice.
future on them, 14 to 1. They're in the semis against Missouri State. I'm going to stick with that pick, the Bulldogs and their defense.
That broke very well for you so far, Jim. Congratulations on
Oh,
your
yes. Thank
progress.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, how about Liberty? That's shocking to me. I thought they were going to run through this conference like they did the regular season. They have been struggling late in the year. Um, Osei Bonsu is 6'4", 280. If you've never seen him play, he's about the biggest guy you can imagine. Sam Houston's the favorite now, Matthew. I think that's who I'll go with. But they have a tough game against Kennesaw. This is really wide open. I think any of these 4 teams could win.
The format's ridiculous. This conference has no idea what it's doing. Like, of course, like adding Missouri State and Delaware just makes no sense for a variety of reasons, right? But then you have the 9 seed Missouri State gets a day off playing the 4 seed Louisiana Tech, who has to go back to back today. Like, I know they had to play 2 to get there, but like, what? That on a neutral site in Huntsville, Alabama? I think Mo State wins. I think Sam Houston wins. Sam Houston dances Mr. Mudge, and Cashing Nat gets to introduce himself to the world.
To,
Freak,
to be
stud.
to be fair, they probably thought Liberty would win that game and have a day of rest.
And they were winning. Missouri State with a 19-0 run
That
to
is
kind of complete the late season
impossible.
meltdown by the Flames. Because
Yeah,
Yeah, that
impossible.
that team faded at the
Yeah.
I will stick with my Louisiana Tech boys. Honestly, would be fun. All right, the MAC. Does Akron get it done, boys? Or are we going to have a 16 seed out of this team out of this tournament now that Miami of Ohio?
I, I'll go with Matt first.
mm, I think Kent.
Kent
Uh,
State.
I think
They're
Kent wins it, but I think I'm rooting for. I saw Rocco had a good take. All of Todd Kowalczyk's. He's won the league a bajillion times. He's never won the conference tournament. This
yep.
feels like the year where his team's not quite as good as it usually is, but the seas are parted. Mr. Kowalczyk
Yeah.
vanquishes those demons. That's what I'm rooting for the Rocket Chips, my guy.
Yeah, it would be very ironic. He's won this league like several times, and the year he finishes fourth, he
This
wins
is
the
like his
tournament.
seventh best team in 10 years, probably. I'm just off the top of my head as I'm thinking about it.
Akron's the best team in the league. They're 30 spots ahead of Miami of Ohio and Kent Palm. They are very good. They get a 12 seed if they win this, and it'd be very fun to see them in the tournament. So I hope they win. Them or Toledo, I guess I'm okay with. They're 8-point favorites against Kent State tonight or today. I'll take Akron, Jim, getting it done.
Yeah, Akron for me. Just going to stick with the Zips, best team. Kent State's got that interior duo, Whaley and Gillespie, but Akron's got enough to be able to handle that. Toledo winning would be funny, ironic, coincidental compared to all the great Kowalczyk teams that have not gotten it done. To the point that at one point I had a reminder on my calendar not to pick Toledo in the MAC tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
Just sad, but true. All right, the SWAC and the MEAC. Let's finish up here. The SWAC taking place in College Park, Georgia. Bethune-Cookman already out. Southern is my pick, Kai, but they also got swept by Florida A&M, and that's a pretty big 2-3 game in this bracket.
Yeah, that's my pick as well. Man, how about Charlie Ward? I mean, year one, Patrick Crary, who was a really good coach, went to Grambling, and now Charlie Ward, who I was certainly skeptical of, because I'm always skeptical of former players just stepping in into coaching roles, especially because I think he's just a high school coach. But they're dangerous. Um, I think Southern gets it done, Jim. This league is so random, as you can see with Prairie View A&M knocking off Bethune-Cookman. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'll take Southern. I'm sure Matt will too. He's gone.
Yeah, Kai, you're gonna have to do some solo work here before we finish up.
Will do.
Because I'm gonna freeze again in a second. I'm also picking Southern. The MEAC is in Norfolk, Virginia. Norfolk State got the 4 seed and lost. It's not at Norfolk, but it's always like semi home for them. Weird year for Norfolk State. Howard was like minus 500 at some places because they were
Yeah.
the 1 seed and they get the bye to the semi because Coppin State is ineligible. So only 7 teams in the field. I'm picking Howard, Kai. I'm not going to complicate things.
Yeah, they've been running roughshod through the league lately, just smoking everybody. They look clearly like the best team. I'll also take Howard, Matthew, Swack, and Miak picks.
Fun fact from CB Analytics: the hottest net team relative 10 games, last 10 games relative to full year is Howard. Um, like by a significant margin. They've been incredible. I will take Howard.
Is that
They're
hotter than Oklahoma and Florida State?
Yes, but I do two separate filters, like the top conferences and then everybody. So yeah, that tends to skew favorably toward mid majors because they have more headroom to improve faster.
Gotcha.
Your Western Carolinas, your Eastern Washingtons, what have you.
Sure,
So
sure.
yeah,
it would be a huge shame if Howard went down. They're 122 spots higher than anyone else in Ken Palm. It's not
a
even
lot.
remotely close. And the team that's closest is Norfolk State, and they're out. Everybody else is 350th or worse in this
That
conference. So,
worst conference in the league, Jim, or nation. Yeah,
yes, yeah, there's been like a rotating chairs there between them. The NEC, the American East is awful this year too.
very
But
bad. Mhm.
let's pick that championship game real quick. Vermont at UMBC.
Well, I'm glad we get it again. That was a classic, like Ryan Odom, UMBC, John Becker, Vermont. Every single year, it was those two teams. I'm sticking with Vermont and Gus Yalden. You talk about a guy that's going to be popular in the tournament. Unfortunately, Vermont would be a 16 or maybe a 15, but probably a 16 if they make it. But he is a goofy boy.
I
Um,
kind of want them to get a play-in game so that there's a little more featured,
More
like Tuesday
Gus.
night standalone game of Gus Bus
Yeah.
against, I don't know, against LIU or something like that. Maybe not LIU, but Lehigh. He's going to eat up Lehigh.
Yeah. Yeah, let's have that.
Yeah. Look, UMBC is the better team and is favored to win at home, but I'll stick with Vermont.
Come on,
So
Catamounts.
apologies to Evan, our UMBC follower, that is big on the Jim Ferry train. But all right, Kai, we made it through, sort of. We struggled through
We did, Jim.
the freezing internet here, but I'll hand it off to you to finish it up with reviews.
Okay, 4 reviews today, guys. Thank you. We are skipping game previews. We've decided best bet show will be tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central. We're going to do it. Yes?
Quick half hour, yeah, like 20
Quick half
games.
hour.
We'll get
Yep.
we'll touch on all of them.
We'll probably talk about all of them. Join us tomorrow on our YouTube channel. Also, Monday night is going to be our March Madness Marathon podcast. We usually go 2 hours. We talk about every single game on the bracket. It's going to be very fun. We'll go through region by region. Please join us then. 7:30 p.m. likely tip for that show.
Central, yeah,
Central.
tentatively. I'm going to be wired in on internet for that, Kai.
Excellent.
That is my promise to the people.
We're going to need you, Jim. And Matt will be on the podcast the entire show. He's promised. He hasn't said anything, but I'm going to make him promise.
We're promising for him, yes.
Okay, 4 reviews. K-Dog97 says, nothing says March better than hanging, and then it trails off. Sorry, it's too long. Long-time listener, first-time reviewer. Someday okay, Best College Hoops podcast, hands down. Someday this frittata big program bias will lessen as the committee uses real metrics like WAB, but probably not, and we will get stuck watching mediocre teams like Ohio State and Auburn rather than more deserving teams like Santa Clara and VCU. Oh well. He says I'll be in Vegas for year 15. Wow, good for him. He
Nice.
said if you happen to be at Beer Park on Thursday, come say hi. He'll be the one at the bar that looks vaguely like a 50-year-old White Goodman wearing a Bradley shirt. Keep up the great work, K-Dog. Jim, you gonna say hello?
I don't know if I'll be there Thursday. I'll be at Beer Park Friday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course.
Usual. Friday is our typical visit to Beer Park. I think I'm going to be floating around circa various locations on Thursday. That's the tentative plan, but would love to run into you, K-Dog. Appreciate the review.
Thank you very much. Next review, Borka the Featherless Goose. He says, big fan, but a bone to pick with Jim. Hey guys, big fan of the show. few episodes ago, you were talking about John Shire after the UNC game. Jim made a comment. Hey, John, win a close game for me one time. The reviewer points out Duke has close wins over Michigan, Arkansas, Florida, and Michigan State this season at Michigan State. Looking forward to hear if Jim has any updates regarding his views on John Shire.
People latch on to one thing they hear. I've said John Shire is the ACC Coach of the Year. I've talked about how much better he is at X's and O's. Last year and this year, they've been awesome offensively with their concepts. The like late game ghost screen Isaiah Evans for Cam Boozer that gets them a wide open three every single time, or it gets Boozer going downhill. That, God, yes, that was like the only flaw in his resume was that he lost some close games last year. Yes, they've got close games this year. Obviously, I think the Michigan one happened after my comment, if we're talking about UNC losing a close game. So John Shire's an awesome coach. It's like, Kai, when you're as good as Duke, you just have to manufacture
Yeah.
adversity, people to get mad at.
Yeah, the goalpost move for Duke. And, it's a higher threshold. You know why it's a higher hurdle? Because Duke has the most talent in the country every single year. That's why it's a higher hurdle. Winning 30 games is the expectation, not a good year. It's the expectation.
He's done a great job with them, especially
done a good
defensively
job.
this year.
Yes, he's done a good job. Their team rocks. Okay. DLH222. Wow, what a pod. Says, loves the pod. It's always a bright spot during the week. He also says, Matt, don't let the other boys razz you about having only one thought. Start coming with no thoughts. Make them earn your expertise. It's good.
If you're good at
Good
something,
advice.
never do it for free,
Yes.
says the Joker. Yeah.
He said, I thought the untimely LJ Kaysen injury news was a chance to ask a question about a theme from the Duke Michigan game. Namely, I felt like Elliott, his lack of size really impacted Michigan's ability to initiate offense from the point against Duke, plus the athletes at the guard spot. LJ was a bit more of a threat than Elliott could do, which Michigan no longer has. So questions are, number one, Jim, do you agree or disagree? And two, if you agree, could you name a few tourney teams that could give Michigan offense trouble, i.e. size and defense in the backcourt and enough size inside to not get dunked on every single possession?
Yeah, I think I do agree. And not just the size thing. I think not having Kaysen as like a security blanket and it's not Cadeau's night. He's turning it over like crazy. Now they don't have that option. They don't have somebody that can come in and hit a bunch of threes. Trying to look at like the length. Like I think St. John's could annoy them. Like the front court. I mean, Dylan Darling is a pipsqueak, but when he's not on the court, they've got their defense has really taken off late. Who else? Like Kansas is really long in the backcourt. That's a possibility. Let's see. Who else, Kai? Duke is obviously the team that has already frustrated them with a giant backcourt and hyper switchable team. Kentucky's fairly big in the backcourt because they're playing like Aberdeen and Owe as 1-2 and Chandler at the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that I guess could be one. I don't know. There's a couple of names. I'll try to see if I can think of any others.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm even trying. I'm looking at 8 and 9 seeds potentially. There's none. Michigan.
Michigan's in the Sweet 16, Kai. Are you sharpieing them into it?
Yes, at the risk of sounding like an idiot, I guess, but yes, I am.
Play this clip back when Texas A&M takes down Michigan.
Yeah. Matt, he said the reviewer said, "Come with no thoughts from now on. Make us want more than just your one thought."
I like that play.
Yeah.
I just have better thoughts than your thoughts. My own original thoughts are trash. I was just looking at the 8 seed line. I like every day in bracketology looking at like the groups of teams in the 8-9 range and 7-10 range.
Mhm.
How scared are you if you're a 1 seed? UCLA, Georgia,
Not scared.
Clemson, Utah State,
Not scared.
TCU. I guess TCU, you saw Michigan again.
TCU's
But
physicality could.
yeah,
maybe
there's
mess
obviously
somebody up.
unique DNAs within that group, but just generally the caliber doesn't like frighten you. So.
No. I also want to remind the folks at home that Joe Lenardi's bracket changes every single second, and that's because he's disingenuous and it's playing up for attention and clicks. And his final bracket is never the exact same as the one that's released right before the tournament show. Keep an eye on that. And I have an inkling that he gets inside information the last couple of years, so he doesn't look as bad in the bracket matrix. That's my big theory.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kai, going conspiracy on us. I like this.
Yeah, because
It's
do
hard
think
to justify
there's-
having a full-time college basketball bracketologist
and not
as
doing
an
well.
ESPN.
right? Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's like directives from management of like, hey, we
Put this
televise the
team
SEC, put Auburn in the field for now.
100%.
Like,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
And Jerry
It's
Palm is no longer. CBS decided to cut that out of the budget, or
yeah,
what happened?
shocking because he was really really bad at bracketology and horrible on camera. I'm surprised he got fired.
Yeah.
That is surprising. He still does bracketology.
It was actually a good typecast for a bracketologist, right? Like the whole essence of like the is like nerd, right? And so he upheld that. So I give the cast credit. But yeah, I mean obviously he
Still
was
references RPI.
just a drywall.
Okay, last review. Sorry, Johnny Thunderbird, best college basketball podcast. Also, great name, Johnny Thunderbird. Loves the podcast. I don't find bench points to be a useful stat within an individual game for describing game flow or assessing win probability, but the media loves to reference it throughout the games and in halftime summaries. Boy, that's true. What are your thoughts on bench points within an individual game, acknowledging that across an entire season long bench minutes could indicate depth and less key player reliance? And are there any commonly used stats by the media that you think are either misused or over relied upon? I have one that comes to mind.
So do I. I wonder if it's the same one.
Well, the announcers always mention points per game or points per game allowed,
Okay.
indicating that that's a strength of offense or defense with no context of pace. And it drives me nuts. It's gotten a little better with Ken Palm's popularity, but it's still mentioned a whole lot.
Okay, the one I despise is points off turnovers.
Points off
If a guy travels, why does that affect the offensive possession? If a guy steps out of bounds, that has nothing to do with it. Points off steals interest me, like points within the
Yes.
first 10 seconds off steals, that would interest me, but just general points off turnovers is not a beneficial statistic to me at all.
I looked at the. It's not even measured consistently across. So like, you're right. It should be type of turnover is how they chart it. They don't do that. Even when they try and do all encompassing, they don't do it right. It's like one of those inaccurate things I've noticed from play-by-play data. I have a million, Kai. Do we have 30 minutes to go through here?
Yes,
couple
we do.
minutes.
We sure do.
The one I hate, I just think rebounding. A team out rebounding though, it's like with no context of like how many missed shots, like rebounding percentage. It's like of all the stats that like you need a percentage context add to it, that is enormous. I that tends to bother me quite a bit. And bench points, to his point.
I got a good example
Yeah,
of
it
this.
doesn't. It doesn't help at all. I think I was talking to Nick about this. I think they're trying to help because they work some of the major media companies a la ESPN, like trying to tell them, hey guys, why don't you show this instead? So I think next 2-3 years we'll start to see some change.
ESPN2 quoted a CBB Analytics stat. I was actually very impressed, which is nice on the broadcast. So,
Can we get him to say promo code Weave on the broadcast?
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The,
Especially if it's like TO or something, like a guy that
Yeah.
maybe would like a little connection.
Sorry, we're belaboring it. The bench points. Logum Duncombe came off the bench for Winthrop because he was hurt in their game against
yeah.
Charleston Southern. They kept showing bench points on the TV. It's like, yeah, he is their best player, and
He's the
he
player of the
always
year.
usually starts. Bench points is irrelevant in this context. So, yes, Johnny Thunderbird, I agree. Also, the popular one is Virginia's points per game compared to the Tony Bennett years this year, as if it's like an indicator of them like being better. It's just craziness. Anywho, Jim, that's it.
Yeah, with their 34th in offense now, and Tony Bennett had years where they ranked 17th, 2nd, 30th, 8th, 21st. Like
Yeah.
they had some good offensive teams. The last one sucked.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, Kai. Should I wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
All right. Thank you everybody for listening. We've got, as Kai mentioned, the March Madness Marathon on Monday, 7:30 p.m. Central, roughly. We'll give you a more accurate tip time as Monday approaches. On Saturday, best bets on
Best bets on
Central.
Saturday, 9 a.m. Central. Yes, go ahead.
God, I said it twice too. I was trying to get it out. I could tell it wasn't getting through. Kai, give them one sentence before I break my computer.
Best bet Saturday, 9 a.m. Central. Monday, March Madness Marathon podcast, 7:30 p.m. Jim. And also, I want everyone to enjoy Selection Sunday.
Gosh, can't wait. How many Merry Christmas texts will I get on Selection Sunday this year? Over under 5.
5. You'll get 6.
Okay, over. Let's hope it catches. I'll update you guys on Monday, March Madness Marathon. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in. Shout out to the chat. Join Basket Under